Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel where we uncover the hidden treasures in everyday coins that could be worth a fortune. Today, we're shining a spotlight on top 4 of the most intriguing pieces in U.S. coinage. The no mint mark Washington quarter in very dirty condition. If you've got old quarters rattling around in your change jar or tucked away in a forgotten collection, stick around because this episode might just make you rethink what you've got. We'll explore its history, design, rarity, and why even in a roughed-up state, it could command serious money from collectors. Let's dive right in and discover what makes this quarter a standout gem. First coin. The 1965 Washington quarter stands out as a pivotal piece in American numismatics, marking the transition from silver to clad coinage amid economic pressures of the mid-20th century. This ultra-rare variant, particularly those struck on leftover 90% silver planchets due to a minting error, captivates collectors with its blend of historical anomaly and aesthetic appeal. Unlike standard quarters of the era, these errors embody a moment of industrial mishap that turned ordinary currency into treasures, drawing enthusiasts who appreciate the thrill of discovering pieces that defied the U.S. Mint's shift to cost-saving materials. Today, its demand surges among serious numismatists seeking to own a slice of minting history, with auctions and private sales highlighting its status as a must-have for comprehensive Washington quarter collections. The coin's allure lies not just in its scarcity, but in the story it tells of America's evolving economy, making it a symbol of innovation and error intertwined, highly prized in a market where authenticity and provenance reign supreme. In the historical backdrop of the 1960s, the 1965 Washington quarter emerged during a time of significant change in U.S. coin production, prompted by a nationwide silver shortage that threatened the stability of the currency system. Minted primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, without a mint mark, as was customary until later decades. This coin was part of the Washington Quarter series initiated in 1932 to honor the first president's bicentennial. The Coinage Act of 1965 mandated the switch from 90% silver to a copper-nickel clad composition to conserve precious metals, amid rising silver prices driven by industrial demand and hoarding. This particular ultra-rare version resulted from transitional errors where silver planchets from prior years were accidentally used, linking it to broader events like the Vietnam War's economic strain and President Lyndon B. Johnson's efforts to stabilize the dollar. No specific commemorative intent was behind it, but its production coincides with cultural shifts, including the space race and civil rights movements, adding layers of contextual richness for historians and collectors alike. The design of the 1965 Washington quarter features John Flanagan's iconic obverse portrait of George Washington, facing left with a resolute expression, encircled by liberty at the top, the date below, and "In God W.E. Trust" along the left side. On the reverse, a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings clutches arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace, above quarter dollar and flanked by United States of America and EPLURIBUS UNUM. What sets the ultra-rare silver era variant apart is its composition, 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing approximately 6.25 grams compared to the standard clad's 5.67 grams, giving it a distinct heft and luster that shines brilliantly in high-grade conditions. Measuring 24.3 mm in diameter with a reeded edge, its visual appeal is enhanced by the silver's natural tunning potential, often developing warm patinas over time, while the error's technical anomaly adds an intriguing metallic ring when struck. In pristine states, the coin's sharp details, from Washington's hair curls to the eagle's feathers, showcase Flanagan's artistry, making it a standout for those who value both symbolic depth and minting precision. Rarity in the 1965 Washington quarter stems largely from the accidental use of silver planchets during the clad transition, with only a handful confirmed to exist, far below the over 1.8 billion standard clad quarters minted that year. These errors occurred when leftover silver blanks were fed into presses intended for the new composition, creating a variety that's not just scarce but virtually unique in its occurrence. Specific subvarieties, such as those with minor die cracks or off-center strikes accompanying the wrong planchet, further amplify exclusivity, though the pure silver era remains the pinnacle. Condition plays a crucial role, as even slight wear can diminish appeal, with uncirculated examples preserving the original mint luster and sharp strikes that highlight the anomaly. Collector demand skyrockets for these due to their low survival rate. Many were circulated unknowingly, driving a competitive market where provenance, such as mint records or expert verification, becomes essential to establishing authenticity. Beyond basic rarity, the coin's condition grading on scales like Sheldon or by services such as PCGS and NGC determines its elite status, with MS65 or higher grades being exceptionally uncommon for these errors, often showing minimal bag marks or friction. Factors like improper storage in the past have led to tunning issues or scratches, reducing the pool of gem-quality pieces and intensifying competition at auctions. This scarcity not only fuels speculative interest, but also underscores the importance of error coin specialists in identifying genuine examples amid forgeries. As a result, the ultra-rare silver variant commands attention in numismatic circles, where its limited numbers, estimated in the low dozens, create a sense of urgency among collectors aiming to complete error sets or Washington series runs. Current market values for the ultra-rare 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet reflect its status as a top-tier error coin, with well-preserved examples in AU50 to MS63 conditions, typically ranging from $4,200 to $5,800 based on recent auction data and private transactions. Higher-grade specimens, such as those achieving MS65, have seen peaks around the upper end of this spectrum, influenced by factors like eye appeal, provenance from notable collections, and overall market trends in precious metal prices. For instance, a certified AU55 piece fetched $4,500 at a major numismatic auction last year, while an MS62 with attractive tunning sold privately for $5,600, demonstrating steady appreciation driven by growing interest in mid-century errors. Economic factors, including inflation and the rising value of silver, contribute to this upward trajectory, with values appreciating about 5–8% annually over the past decade, making it a solid investment for discerning buyers. For collectors pursuing this gem, identifying authentic examples begins with weighing the coin to confirm the heavier silver composition, followed by magnetic tests. Silver errors won't attract magnets like clad ones might. Certification by reputable grading services is paramount to avoid counterfeits, ensuring encapsulation protects against environmental damage while providing a liquidity boost in resale. Storage in inert holders or albums away from humidity and direct light preserves condition, and joining numismatic communities like the ANA or online forums offers insights into spotting subtle diagnostics. Acquisition strategies include monitoring major auctions from Heritage or Stack's Bowers, dealing with established vendors specializing in errors, or attending coin shows for hands-on inspection. Always budget for premiums on certified pieces to secure long-term value. In summation, the ultra-rare 1965 Washington quarter on silver planchet encapsulates a fascinating intersection of history, artistry, and rarity, offering both aesthetic delight and investment potential that appeals to novices and veterans alike. Its enduring significance lies in representing a pivotal minting era, with its unique era elevating it beyond mere currency to a collectible icon poised for continued appreciation in an ever-evolving market. Coin number 2. Most valuable United States 1966 Washington quarter in very dirty condition. A humble 25-cent piece that packs a surprising punch in the collector's market. Let's kick things off by introducing this intriguing coin and explaining what makes it so collectible, even when it's far from pristine. The 1966 Washington quarter is part of the long-running series honoring America's first president. But what elevates certain examples to most valuable status is the presence of rare minting errors, particularly the double die reverse (DDR) variety. In very dirty condition, think heavily circulated with grime, wear, and that aged patina from years of handling. This coin might look like pocket change at first glance, but its error makes it a numismatic gem. Collectors are drawn to it because it represents a snapshot of minting imperfections during a turbulent era in U.S. coinage, turning an otherwise common quarter into a sought-after rarity. The thrill comes from the hunt. Spotting one in your change or at a flea market could mean discovering a piece worth far more than its face value, appealing to both history buffs and investors who appreciate the story behind the error and its potential for appreciation over time. Diving into the history and background, 1966 was a pivotal year for U.S. coinage amid the ongoing shift away from silver, due to skyrocketing prices and widespread hoarding that had plagued the economy since the early 1960s. The Coinage Act of 1965 had already transitioned quarters to a copper-nickel-clad composition, and by 1966, the Philadelphia Mint was churning out these new clad coins at a staggering rate to alleviate shortages. Over 821 million pieces in total, all without mint marks to deter speculators and collectors from pulling them out of circulation. This was part of a broader strategy by the U.S. Treasury to stabilize the money supply, including suspending proof set production and introducing special mint sets, SMS, as a collector alternative. The minting context was chaotic, with high-volume production leading to occasional die errors like the DDR, where the hubbing process created subtle doubling on the coin's design. Economic pressures, including inflation and the Vietnam War's drain on resources, meant the mint prioritized quantity over perfection, allowing these anomalies to slip through and enter circulation, where many endured decades of use, emerging today in that very dirty, well-worn state that tells a tale of everyday American life in the late 20th century. Now, let's examine the design details and unique features that define this coin on both sides, starting with the obverse, which showcases John Flanagan's iconic portrait of George Washington facing left, based on a 1785 bust by Jean Antlin Howdon, with sharp details in the hair curls and neck truncation that fade significantly in very dirty condition due to heavy abrasion. Above Washington's head arcs Liberty, while In God We Trust sits to the left, and the date 1966 anchors the bottom, elements that remain somewhat legible even when the coin is grimy and pitted from years of dirt and handling. Flipping to the reverse, we see the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing war and peace, encircled by United States of America at the top and $quarter at the bottom, with EPLURIBUS UNUM scrolling above the eagle. The standout unique feature here, especially for the valuable DDR variety, is the subtle doubling visible under magnification on letters like the E and S in states, or the Q in quarter, where the die impression overlapped, creating a ghostly secondary image that's a hallmark of this era. In very dirty condition, this doubling might be obscured by tarnish or wear, but when present, it transforms the coin from ordinary to extraordinary, highlighting the artistry and occasional flaws in the mint's high-speed production process. Shifting to the discussion of rarity and survival in specific conditions, the 1966 Washington quarter itself is anything but rare thanks to its massive mintage, but the DDR era variety is exceptionally scarce, with only a handful of confirmed examples known to exist, making it a true needle in the haystack for collectors. Survival rates plummet when we factor in very dirty condition, defined here as heavily circulated grades like good 4 or lower, where the coin shows extensive flattening, rim wear, and accumulated grime from pockets, cash registers, and environmental exposure over nearly 6 decades. Most 1966 quarters in circulation today are in better shape, but the DDR ones that have survived in this battered state are even rarer because many errors were spotted and pulled early by eagle-eyed collectors, while others succumbed to melting or loss. The clad composition helped them endure without the silver melt incentive, yet the sheer volume of production meant most errors went unnoticed until recently, with modern grading services like PCGS and NGC authenticating just a few in low grades. This condition adds to the allure, as a very dirty DDR quarter embodies the coin's journey through history, scarred but intact, with estimates suggesting fewer than a dozen such examples have surfaced at auctions, underscoring their improbable survival amid billions of similar coins. When it comes to collector demand, and why this coin stands out in the Washington Quarter series, there's a palpable buzz around the 1966 DDR in very dirty condition, because it encapsulates the series' evolution from silver to clad, serving as a bridge between pre-1965 precious metal pieces and modern circulating coins. The Washington Quarter series, spanning from 1932 onward, is beloved for its historical ties to the nation's founding father, but this 1966 era variant shines as an outlier amid otherwise abundant dates, drawing demand from era specialists, series completists, and investors seeking affordable entry points into high-value numismatics. What sets it apart is the intrigue of the doubled die, a minting mishap that's visually captivating even in worn states, combined with the transitional narrative of the 1960s coin crisis, making it more than just a quarter. It's a conversation piece that outshines common dates like the 1967 or 1968 by orders of magnitude in rarity. Demand surges at coin shows and online forums, where collectors trade stories of finding one in change, fueling a market where even very dirty examples command premiums due to their scarcity, appealing to those who value the underdog story in a series dominated by high mintage, low-drama issues. Turning to its current market value in today's dollar terms, the most valuable 1966 Washington Quarter in very dirty condition, specifically the DDR variety, can fetch impressive sums despite its humble appearance, with prices typically ranging from $850 to $5,500 depending on the exact grade, visibility of the doubling, and overall eye appeal after professional cleaning or authentication. In lower circulated grades like Good 4, where the coin looks thoroughly worn and encrusted with dirt, values start around $850 for examples where the error is still discernible under a loupe, climbing to $1,500, $2,500 for those in about Good 3, with moderate pitting but strong doubling confirmation from grading services. Auction records show that even in this very dirty state, specimens have sold for up to $5,500 when the historical provenance is documented, or the error is particularly bold, as seen in recent sales on platforms like Heritage Auctions or eBay, where bidders compete fiercely for these survivors. Factors like tunning from environmental exposure can add or detract, but overall, the market has seen a steady uptick in values over the past decade, driven by growing awareness through YouTube channels and numismatic apps, making it a smart hold for collectors eyeing long-term gains in the $850 to $5,500 spectrum. For collecting tips, focus first on condition by examining the coin under good lighting to assess wear levels. In very dirty states, prioritize pieces where the grime doesn't completely obscure key details like the date or error features, and always get them professionally graded by PCGS or NGC to verify authenticity and avoid counterfeits. Grading is crucial here, as a certified good 4DDR can multiply value tenfold over an uncertified one, while color and luster, though minimal in dirty condition, should show natural patina rather than harsh cleaning marks that devalue the piece. Look for subtle luster remnants in protected areas like the eagle's wings or Washington's hair, as these can indicate originality despite the overall filth. To find one, scour estate sales, coin shops, or online marketplaces like eBay, but also check your own change or attend local coin clubs where bulk lots might hide treasures. Apps and forums can help identify potential DDRs via photo uploads. Build your knowledge by studying reference books like The Cherry Picker's Guide, and remember to store them in protective holders to prevent further deterioration, turning your hunt into a rewarding adventure. In conclusion, the 1966 Washington quarter in very dirty condition, particularly the DDR variety, holds immense importance as a relic of America's monetary transition, its rarity amplified by the odds-defying survival of such errors through decades of circulation, making it a cornerstone for any serious collection. Its appeal lies in the blend of historical significance, visual intrigue from the doubling, and the democratic thrill of possibly finding one affordably, drawing in new collectors with its accessible entry point while challenging seasoned numismatists to seek out the finest worn examples. Whether you're just starting or have cabinets full of rarities, this coin reminds us of the magic in everyday pocket change, encouraging all to look closer at what might otherwise be overlooked. If you've enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll uncover the secrets of another elusive U.S. coin that's turning heads in the collecting world. You won't believe its hidden value. Point number 3. The 1967 Washington quarter stands as a captivating anomaly in the realm of American numismatics, particularly when considering its ultra-rare error variants that elevate it from everyday pocket change to a coveted treasure among collectors. This United States 25-cent coin, part of the long-running Washington quarter series, draws immense appeal due to its transitional role in U.S. coinage history, where the shift from silver to clad compositions created opportunities for striking mint errors. Enthusiasts prize it not just for its aesthetic simplicity, but for the thrill of discovering specimens that defy standard production norms, such as those inadvertently struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years. Today, it commands strong market demand, with serious collectors willing to pay premiums for authenticated examples that showcase pristine preservation and unique manufacturing flaws. Its importance lies in bridging the gap between common circulation coins and high-stakes rarities, making it a gateway for novices while challenging seasoned numismatists to hunt for those elusive pieces that embody the unpredictability of mint operations. Produced during a pivotal era in U.S. monetary history, the 1967 Washington quarter emerged amid the Coinage Act of 1965, which aimed to combat a nationwide coin shortage exacerbated by rising silver prices and public hoarding. The U.S. Mint, operating primarily out of Philadelphia without mint marks to discourage speculative collecting, churned out over 1.5 billion of these clad quarters to meet surging demand for everyday transactions. This date freeze, extending from 1965 to 1967, reflected broader economic pressures, including the Vietnam War's inflationary impacts and the global silver market's volatility, which prompted the permanent abandonment of 90% silver compositions for dimes and quarters. While the coin doesn't commemorate a specific event or figure beyond honoring George Washington, its production ties into the cultural shift toward fiat-based currency, symbolizing America's adaptation to modern economic realities. Key figures like Mint director Eva Adams oversaw this transition, ensuring high-volume output that inadvertently led to errors when old silver blanks mixed into the process, adding a layer of historical intrigue to these misstruck pieces. Visually, the 1967 Washington Quarter adheres to John Flanagan's iconic design, with the obverse featuring a left-facing bust of George Washington, encircled by Liberty at the top, the date below, and In God We Trust along the left rim, all rendered with subtle elegance that highlights the president's resolute profile. The reverse depicts a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and an olive branch, framed by United States of America, and EPLURIBUSUNUM above, and $quarter below, evoking themes of strength and peace. Typically composed of a copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, measuring 24.3 in diameter and weighing 5.67 grams. The ultra-rare silver planchet variants stand out with a 90% silver and 10% copper makeup, weighing approximately 6.25 grams and exhibiting a brighter, more lustrous sheen that resists tarnish better than their clad counterparts. In high-grade conditions, these errors reveal sharp strikes with intricate feather details on the eagle and defined hair strands on Washington, often accompanied by a distinctive reeded edge that enhances their tactile appeal, making them technically superior and visually mesmerizing under magnification. What truly sets this coin apart in terms of rarity stems from its minuscule survival rate and the specific circumstances of its erroneous creation, with only a handful of authenticated examples known to exist from the accidental use of pre-1965 silver planchets during the clad transition. The massive mintage of standard 1967 quarters, exceeding 1.5 billion, contrasts sharply with these errors, which occurred due to leftover blanks slipping into production lines, resulting in perhaps fewer than a dozen confirmed specimens across grading services like PCGS and NGC. Varieties such as this wrong metal strike amplify scarcity, as most quarters from this era circulated heavily, suffering where that diminishes detail and luster. Condition plays a paramount role, with uncirculated or near-mint examples, MS65 or higher, commanding the highest demand, where even minor contact marks or planchet flaws can drastically reduce appeal, fueling intense competition among collectors who value the narrative of mint mishaps over sheer quantity. In today's market, the value of this ultra-rare 1967 Washington quarter, struck on a 90% silver planchet, fluctuates based on grading, provenance, and auction dynamics, typically ranging from $2,200 for solid MS63 examples to upwards of $4,800 for gem-quality MS66 or better specimens, with exceptional eye appeal. Recent auction records highlight this trend, with one certified piece fetching $3,750 in a 2023 heritage sale, while another, boasting superior luster and minimal imperfections, realized $4,500 at a Stax Bowers event the following year, reflecting steady appreciation driven by growing interest in transitional errors. Factors like certification authenticity, pedigree from notable collections, and overall market sentiment for silver-related anomalies contribute to these prices, with values appreciating about 5–8% annually, as supply remains static and demand from error coin specialists intensifies, positioning it as a solid mid-tier investment in the numismatic landscape. For collectors eager to pursue this elusive quarter, starting with weight verification, aiming for that telltale 6.25 grams, is crucial, followed by close inspection for the brighter silver tone and absence of the copper edge stripe typical of clad coins, ideally using a loupe to spot any diagnostic markers like planchet striations. Certification by reputable services such as PCGS or NGC is non-negotiable, as it guards against counterfeits and provides a standardized grade that boosts resale potential. Always request slabbed examples with clear photos of both sides. Storage should involve airtight holders or capsules in a cool, dry environment to prevent tunning or environmental damage, while acquisition strategies include monitoring major auctions like those from Heritage or Great Collections, networking in numismatic forums such as the Coin Community, or attending shows like the ANA World's Fair of Money. Building relationships with trusted dealers specializing in errors can yield off-market opportunities, and budgeting for professional appraisals ensures informed purchases without overpaying for overhyped lots. In summary, the 1967 Washington Quarter on a silver planchet encapsulates a perfect storm of historical transition, minting intrigue, and aesthetic purity, offering collectors a tangible link to America's evolving currency story, while promising robust investment returns through its inherent scarcity. Its blend of everyday familiarity with extraordinary rarity appeals to both budding hobbyists seeking an entry into era coins and veteran enthusiasts chasing the pinnacle of Washington series completions. As numismatic markets evolve, this coin's potential for further value growth remains strong, underscoring its enduring allure in a field where history and happenstance converge to create timeless treasures. Coin number 4. The 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter in very dirty condition. If you've got old quarters rattling around in your change jar or tucked away in a forgotten collection, stick around because this episode might just make you rethink what you've got. We'll explore its history, design, rarity, and why even in a roughed-up state, it could command serious money from collectors. Let's dive right in and discover what makes this quarter a standout gem. This 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter is a fascinating entry in the world of numismatics, not just because it's a standard 25-cent piece from a transitional period in American coin production, but because certain varieties and errors elevate it to must-have status for serious collectors. What makes it particularly collectible is its association with the post-silver era adjustments at the U.S. Mint, where clad compositions replaced precious metals, yet some coins escaped with minting anomalies that turn ordinary pocket change into rarities. In very dirty condition, meaning heavily circulated, with grime, scratches, and wear that obscures details but doesn't erase its inherent appeal, this quarter stands out for those hunting era coins or key dates. Collectors prize it for potential double die features or off-center strikes that occurred during production, making even a battered example a thrilling find. Its collectability stems from the thrill of the hunt. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction survived with those unique flaws that drive up demand. Whether you're a beginner spotting one at a flea market or a veteran building a set, this coin offers a gateway into understanding how mint errors can transform a humble quarter into a valuable artifact, blending historical significance with the excitement of potential profit. To fully appreciate the 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter, we need to step back into the historical context of that year and the minting environment at the time. 1968 was a pivotal moment for U.S. coinage, marking the return of mint marks after a 3-year hiatus imposed by the Coinage Act of 1965 to combat nationwide coin shortages and hoarding driven by rising silver prices. During 1965-1967, all quarters were struck without mint marks regardless of location, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, to discourage collectors from pulling them out of circulation. But in 1968, the mint resumed using marks, D for Denver and S for San Francisco, while Philadelphia coins remained unmarked, creating the no mint mark designation for those struck there. Amidst broader social upheaval, the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia churned out over 220 million of these quarters to meet economic demands. This high production volume was part of efforts to stabilize the currency supply, but it also led to quality control lapses, resulting in errors like double dies or improper planchet strikes. The no mint mark variety thus represents a bridge between the silver-free clad era and the restoration of traditional minting practices, encapsulating a time when the mint was adapting to new realities while producing coins that would inadvertently become collectible due to those very imperfections. Turning our attention to the design, the 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter features classic elements that have defined the series since its inception, with subtle nuances that reward close inspection. On the obverse side, you'll find the iconic left-facing portrait of George Washington, based on a sculpture by Jean Antoine Houdon, with his hair tied in a ponytail and a determined expression that symbolizes leadership and resilience. Encircling the bust are the inscriptions Liberty arched at the top, the date 1968 at the bottom, and In God We Trust along the left side, all rendered in a clean, sans serif font that emphasizes simplicity and enduring American values. What makes this side unique for the 1968 issue is the potential for error varieties, such as double die obverses, where the lettering or Washington's features appear shadowed or duplicated due to hubbing mishaps during die preparation, features that might still be discernible even under layers of dirt and wear. Flipping to the reverse, the design showcases a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings, perched atop a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and defense, while clutching an olive branch for peace. Above the eagle floats EPLURIBUSUNUM, with United States of America curving along the top rim and quarter dollar at the bottom. The reeded edge adds a tactile element, and in error-prone examples, you might spot off-center strikes or clipped planchets that disrupt the symmetry, turning an otherwise standard reverse into a one-of-a-kind curiosity. These design details, crafted by John Flanagan, not only honor the nation's first president, but also highlight the mint's craftsmanship, where even minor deviations create lasting intrigue for collectors examining them under magnification. When it comes to rarity and survival rates, the 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter in very dirty condition presents a compelling story of endurance against the odds, as most examples from this massive mintage have been battered by decades of circulation. With over 220 million produced in Philadelphia, the base coin isn't rare in absolute terms, but survival in any recognizable state is estimated at around 25%, meaning roughly 55 million might still exist today, many lost to melting, damage, or simply being spent as change. In very dirty condition, which we can equate to grades like good or fair on the Sheldon scale, where the coin shows heavy wear, accumulated grime from handling, and perhaps environmental tunning or corrosion, the rarity amps up because pristine survivors dominate auction headlines, leaving circulated pieces undervalued yet intriguing for their authenticity. What boosts its scarcity factor are the error varieties. For instance, a no mint mark quarter with a prominent double die or struck on a wrong planchet, like a dime's smaller size, is exceptionally rare, with perhaps only a handful known in any condition, let alone surviving the rigors of pocket wear and dirt buildup. These errors occurred due to rushed production amid the mint mark resumption. And while high-grade examples are museum pieces, dirty ones tell a tale of real-world use, making them scarcer in collector circles where provenance and originality matter. Overall, the combination of high initial output with low survival in flawed states positions this quarter as a hidden rarity, especially for those who appreciate coins that have lived a life, rather than sitting untouched. Collector demand for the 1968 No Mint Mark Washington Quarter remains robust, particularly because it stands out in the Washington Quarter series as a key transitional piece that bridges the No Mint Mark era with the return to identified production sites, offering a narrative depth that few other dates can match. In the broader Washington Quarter lineup, which spans from 1932 to today, this 1968 example shines for its error potential, doubled dies, repunched elements, or missing clad layers. that set it apart from more mundane issues like the 1970s bicentennials or modern state quarters. Collectors are drawn to it for completing date sets or specializing in clad-era errors, where even a very dirty specimen can anchor a collection focused on mint mishaps from the late 1960s. What makes it exceptional is how it embodies the mint's adaptation to economic pressures, appealing to history buffs who see it as a snapshot of post-silver coinage evolution, while error hunters prize it for the challenge of identifying subtle varieties under grime. Demand spikes at coin shows and online forums, where seasoned numismatists trade stories of finding these in bulk lots, and newcomers are hooked by the affordability compared to silver-era rarities like the 1932D ultimately. Its standout status comes from blending accessibility with exclusivity, making it a cornerstone for anyone building a Washington quarter collection that emphasizes innovation and imperfection over perfection. In today's market, the value of a 1968 no-mint-mark Washington quarter in very dirty condition can vary widely based on the specifics of its wear and any embedded errors. But for those with confirmed rare varieties like a strong double die or off-center strike, prices typically range from around $1,200 to $5,500 or more at auction. Reflecting current collector enthusiasm and economic factors, as of late 2025, this range accounts for the coin's clad composition, providing no melt value premium, but the rarity of errors pushes it into premium territory, even in dirty, circulated states where details are softened by scratches and buildup. A verified double die example might fetch $1,200 in good condition if the doubling is still visible under cleaning attempts. Higher within the range, say $3,000 to $5,500, applies to pieces with dramatic errors like a missing clad layer exposing the copper core, which adds visual drama and historical intrigue, often certified by grading services to confirm authenticity amid the grime. Recent sales data from platforms like Heritage Auctions and eBay show fluctuations based on market trends, with economic uncertainty boosting interest in tangible assets like error coins, potentially driving values upward if demand outpaces supply. Keep in mind, without errors, a standard dirty example hovers near face value, but for the most valuable variants, this price spectrum underscores why thorough examination is crucial before dismissing a grimy find. For those eager to start collecting the 1968 no-mint-mark Washington quarter, especially in very dirty condition, focus first on assessing the overall state by examining wear patterns. Look for flattened high points on Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers, as heavy circulation and dirt can hide but not destroy key details like error doubling. Grading is paramount. Submit promising pieces to services like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation, as a certified grade can multiply value even if it's low like good 4, where luster is gone but the coin's integrity remains. Pay attention to color and luster remnants. A very dirty coin might have natural tunning from environmental exposure, which some collectors prefer over cleaned specimens that lose originality, so avoid harsh cleaning methods that could strip away patina and reduce appeal. Where to hunt? Scour estate sales, coin shops, online marketplaces like eBay, or even bank rolls for overlooked examples, and use magnification tools or apps to spot varieties. Join numismatic forums for tips on identifying no-mint-mark errors specific to 1968 Philadelphia strikes. Building a network with other collectors can lead to trades or alerts on fresh finds, and always prioritize provenance to ensure authenticity in a market wary of counterfeits. In conclusion, the 1968 no-mint-mark Washington quarter in very dirty condition encapsulates the allure of numismatics through its historical significance, design elegance, and the thrill of rare errors that defy its common origins, making it a timeless piece that appeals to both novice enthusiasts discovering their first error coin and seasoned collectors refining their Washington quarter sets. Its rarity in flawed yet surviving states, combined with strong demand, underscores why it remains a sought-after gem, reminding us that true value often lies beneath the surface grime of everyday artifacts. Whether you're just starting out or have been in the hobby for years, this quarter invites you to explore the stories etched into America's coinage, promising both educational rewards and potential financial gains. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1968 No Mint Mark Washington quarter, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next episode, where we'll uncover the secrets of another hidden treasure, the 1943 copper penny, and why even a worn example could change your life. See you then.